Welcome to Sleep with Sports NFL preview for Week 7. The 3-3 Denver Broncos face the 2-4 New Orleans Saints on Thursday Night Football. The Broncos are currently 2.5-point favorites, with 57% of the public backing Denver against the spread. Offensively, the Broncos rank 28th in yards per game while the Saints sit 18th. Defensively, Denver has improved dramatically, now ranking 4th in EPA per play allowed, while New Orleans has struggled, ranking 32nd in yards allowed per game. The Broncos are 4-2 against the spread this season, including 3-1 in their last 4 games. The Saints are 3-3 against the spread, but just 1-3 in their last 4 contests. The Saints will likely be without starting quarterback Derek Carr with a shoulder injury, while wide receivers Chris Olave and Rashid Shaheed are also questionable. For Denver, cornerback Patrick Surtain II is in concussion protocol, and his status is uncertain. Rookie quarterback Bo Nix has shown improvement for Denver, throwing for over 200 yards in 4 of his last 5 games. He faces a Saints pass defense allowing the 3rd most passing yards per game. On the other side, rookie Spencer Rattler will likely make his second start for New Orleans after a shaky debut last week, throwing for 243 yards. 1 touchdown and 2 interceptions. Running back Alvin Kamara will be crucial for the Saints offense. He's averaging 71.3 rushing yards per game and has 238 receiving yards on the season. Denver's defense, however, ranks 3rd in dropback EPA per play allowed. The Broncos' offense has struggled overall, but they've scored 45.5 total points per game over their last 2 contests. The Saints have gone over 37.5 total points in 5 of 6 games this season, including last week with Rattler at quarterback. This game features 2 teams trending in opposite directions. Denver's defense has become a force, while New Orleans has lost 4 straight games. The quarterback matchup between 2 rookies adds intrigue, but the Broncos' recent defensive prowess gives them a slight edge in what's expected to be a low-scoring affair. The 1-5 New England Patriots face the 1-5 Jacksonville Jaguars in London on Sunday morning. The Jaguars are currently favored by 5.5 points, with 54% of bets backing Jacksonville. The total is set at 42.5 points. Offensively, the Patriots rank 30th in yards per game, while the Jaguars rank 19th. Defensively, New England is 25th in yards allowed and Jacksonville is 31st, allowing 390 yards per game. The Jaguars' passing defense has been particularly vulnerable, allowing a league-worst 276.7 yards per game through the air. Against the spread, the Patriots are 0-4-1 in their last 5 games, while the Jaguars are 2-5 in their last 7 home games. New England is 9-1 straight up in their last 10 games against Jacksonville. Patriots running back Ramondre Stevenson is questionable with an undisclosed injury. For the Jaguars, running back Travis Etienne Jr. and safety Darnell Savage are both questionable. All eyes will be on Patriots rookie quarterback Drake May, making his 2nd career start after an encouraging debut, throwing for 243 yards and 3 touchdowns. He faces a favorable matchup against Jacksonville's struggling secondary. Jaguars quarterback Trevor Lawrence will need to bounce back after a disappointing performance last week, as Jacksonville's playoff hopes are quickly fading. The Jaguars' defense, allowing 29.7 points per game, 31st in the NFL, must improve to give their team a chance. Edge rusher Travon Walker could be key in pressuring the rookie May. With both teams desperate for a win, this London matchup could come down to which offense can take advantage of the opposing defense's weaknesses. The Patriots' new-look offense under May against Jacksonville's porous secondary will be a crucial factor in determining the outcome. The 4-1 Detroit Lions travel to face the 5-0 Minnesota Vikings in a crucial NFC North matchup. The Vikings are favored by 2.5 points, with the over-under set at 49.5 points. Public betting is currently leaning towards the Vikings. Offensively, the Lions rank 4th in yards per game and 16th in points per game, while the Vikings rank 6th in points per game. Defensively, Detroit ranks 10th in yards allowed and 9th in points allowed, While Minnesota boasts the third-ranked defense, allowing just 15.2 points per game, the Lions are 4-1 against the spread this season, covering in their last 3 games. They've also covered in their last 7 games against the Vikings. Minnesota is a perfect 5-0 against the spread this season. The Lions will be without defensive end James Houston and wide receiver Jameson Williams. Tight end Brock Wright is also out with a hip injury. Safety C.J. Gardner-Johnson and defensive tackle Aleem McNeil are questionable. For the Vikings, cornerback Caleb Evans and wide receiver Justin Jefferson are out, while guard Ed Ingram is questionable. Lions quarterback Jared Goff has been impressive, leading the NFL with a 76.3% completion rate and 9.6 yards per attempt. He'll need to maintain this efficiency against the Vikings' tough defense. For Minnesota, quarterback Sam Darnold has been a pleasant surprise, throwing for 932 yards and 11 touchdowns in 5 games. His continued strong play will be crucial for the Vikings' success. Running back Aaron Jones's return from injury for Minnesota could be a game-changer, as he's rushed for 321 yards in just 4 games. The Lions' defense, particularly their front 7, will need to step up to contain him. This matchup features 2 of the NFL's hottest teams, with the Vikings looking to maintain their perfect record, and the Lions aiming to prove they're legitimate contenders in the NFC North. The game's outcome could hinge on which offense can exploit the other's defensive weaknesses more effectively. The 1-4 Tennessee Titans face the 4-2 Buffalo Bills. The Bills are heavily favored, with the current point spread set at -8.5 for Buffalo. The public is leaning towards the Bills, with approximately 65% of bets placed on Buffalo to cover. Offensively, the Bills rank 7th in points per game, while the Titans struggle at 21st. Defensively, Tennessee has been impressive, ranking 1st in total yards allowed and 1st in passing yards, allowing only 137 yards per game. Buffalo's defense ranks 11th in points, allowing 21 points per game. Against the spread, the Titans are 1-4 this season, while the Bills are 3-3. Tennessee has struggled on the road, going 2-11 straight up in their last 13 away games. The Bills are 3-8 against the spread in their last 11 games versus AFC South opponents. The Titans have defensive tackle Keandre Coburn and running back Tyjae Spears listed as questionable. For the Bills, defensive tackle Ed Oliver and running back James Cook are questionable, which could impact their run defense and offensive game plan. Key players to watch include Titans running back Tony Pollard, who's averaging 4.35 yards per carry and has 3 touchdowns this season. The Titans may lean heavily on the run game to keep Bills quarterback Josh Allen off the field. For Buffalo, wide receiver Keon Coleman needs to step up to provide Allen with a reliable target and diversify the Bills' offense. The total for this game is set at 41.5 points. Interestingly, the under is 8-1 in the Titans' last 9 games played in October, while the over is 5-0 in the Bills' last 5 home games. Given the Titans' strong defense and the Bills' potential offensive limitations due to injuries, this game could be closer than the spread suggests. The 2-3 Miami Dolphins face the 3-3 Indianapolis Colts on Sunday in Indianapolis. The Colts are currently 3.5-point favorites, with the total set at 42.5 points. Public betting is slightly favoring the Colts. Offensively, the Dolphins rank 21st in total yards, while the Colts' defense ranks 30th, allowing 389.5 yards per game. The Dolphins' 25th ranked passing offense faces a Colts pass defense ranked 26th. In rushing, Miami matches up against Indianapolis' 31st ranked run defense. The Colts' offense ranks 13th overall, while Miami's defense is 5th, allowing just 285.4 yards per game. Indianapolis's passing offense faces Miami's 3rd-ranked pass defense. The Colts' 17th-ranked rushing attack goes against the Dolphins' 18th-ranked run defense. Against the spread, the Dolphins are 1-7 in their last 8 games, while the Colts are 5-1 in their last 6. Miami is 9-1 against the spread in their last 10 games in Indianapolis. Dolphins running back Devon Achane and safety Jordan Poyer are questionable. For the Colts, quarterback Anthony Richardson and running back Jonathan Taylor are questionable, but both are expected to play barring setbacks. Key to this matchup will be the performance of Colts quarterback Anthony Richardson, who has struggled with 6 interceptions to just 3 touchdowns this season. His ability to protect the ball against Miami's strong pass defense will be crucial. For the Dolphins, the potential return of running back Devon Achane could provide a spark to their offense, which has averaged only 12 points per game in their last 3 outings. The Dolphins' defense, particularly their pass defense, will be tasked with containing the Colts' passing attack, whether led by Richardson or veteran Joe Flacco. This game presents an intriguing matchup between Miami's struggling offense and Indianapolis's porous defense. The return of key players on both sides could significantly impact the outcome. The 3-3 Seattle Seahawks face the 4-2 Atlanta Falcons. The Falcons are currently favored by 2.5 points, with 58% of the public backing Atlanta. The over-under is set at 51.5 points. Offensively, the Seahawks rank 13th in total yards per game, while the Falcons are 11th. Defensively, Seattle ranks 25th in yards allowed, and Atlanta is 20th. A key statistic to note is that the Falcons are 3rd in rushing yards per game, while the Seahawks' run defense ranks 29th, allowing 153.2 yards per game on the ground. Against the spread, the Seahawks are 3-3 this season, while the Falcons are 3-3. Seattle is 1-2 against the spread on the road, and Atlanta is 1-1 at home. The Seahawks are dealing with several key players listed as questionable. Cornerback Tariq Woolen and linebacker Uchenna Nwosu missed last week's game, and their status remains uncertain. For the Falcons, linebacker Troy Anderson is questionable, while safety DeMarco Hellams is expected to return from injured reserve. The Falcons' rushing attack, led by running back Bijan Robinson, will be crucial against Seattle's struggling run defense. Robinson is averaging 5 yards per carry and has been a dual threat out of the backfield. For the Seahawks, quarterback Geno Smith needs to bounce back from a 2-interception performance last week. His connection with wide receivers DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett will be key to keeping pace with Atlanta's offense. The Falcons' ability to control the clock with their ground game and exploit Seattle's weak run defense could be the deciding factor. However, if the Seahawks can force quarterback Kirk Cousins into mistakes and establish their own running game with Kenneth Walker III, they could keep this game close or pull off the upset. The 5-1 Houston Texans face the 4-2 Green Bay Packers at Lambeau Field on Sunday. The Packers are currently favored by 3 points, with the over-under set at 47.5. Public betting is slightly leaning towards the Packers. Offensively, the Texans rank 5th in total yards while the Packers rank 4th. Defensively, Houston has the edge, ranking 4th in yards allowed compared to Green Bay's 19th rank. The Texans' passing defense has been particularly strong, ranking 4th and allowing only 163.2 yards per game. Against the spread, the Texans are 2-3-1 this season, while the Packers are an impressive 4-2. Green Bay has covered in 8 of their last 10 games overall. The Texans have covered in 5 of their last 6 October games. Injury-wise, the Texans are dealing with the loss of wide receiver Nico Collins, who was placed on injured reserve with a hamstring injury. For the Packers, cornerback Jaire Alexander is questionable with a shoulder and ankle injury, while running back Aaron Jones is questionable with thumb and neck issues. Quarterback performance will be crucial in this matchup. The Texans' C.J. Stroud has been impressive, completing 142 of 208 passes for 1,577 yards, 10 touchdowns, and 1 interception. The Packers' Jordan Love has thrown for 1,131 yards, with 12 touchdowns and 1 interception on 86 of 146 passing. In the running game, the Packers have an advantage with Josh Jacobs, who has 464 yards on 108 carries. The Texans' Joe Mixon has 286 yards on 52 carries but is averaging a higher 5.5 yards per attempt. Both teams are coming off strong performances, with the Texans winning their last 3 games and the Packers winning their last 2. The Packers' home field advantage at Lambeau Field could be a significant factor, but the Texans' strong defense may keep this game close. This matchup presents an intriguing contest between two teams performing well above preseason expectations, with statistical advantages on both sides that could lead to a competitive and high-scoring affair. The 4-2 Baltimore Ravens face the 4-2 Tampa Bay Buccaneers on Monday Night Football in a clash of two high-powered offenses. The Ravens are currently favored by 3.5 points, with 58% of the public backing Baltimore to cover the spread. Offensively, both teams have been impressive this season. The Ravens lead the league in total yards per game and rushing yards per game. The Buccaneers aren't far behind, ranking second in points per game and first in dropback success rate. Defensively, both teams have shown some vulnerabilities, particularly against the pass. Against the spread, the Ravens are 5-1 in their last 6 road games, while the Buccaneers are 4-1 in their last 5 games as underdogs on the East Coast. The total points line is set at 48.5, with recent trends favoring the over for Ravens games and the under for Buccaneers home games. The Ravens are relatively healthy, with no major starters listed as questionable for the game. The Buccaneers, however, have several key players listed as questionable, including running back Rachaad White, wide receiver Trey Palmer, and safety Antoine Winfield Jr. All eyes will be on the quarterbacks in this matchup. Lamar Jackson has been exceptional for the Ravens, throwing for 10 touchdowns with just 2 interceptions while averaging 8.7 yards per attempt. He's also a threat on the ground, averaging 67.2 rushing yards per game. For the Buccaneers, Baker Mayfield leads the NFL in touchdown passes and will look to exploit the Ravens' vulnerable secondary. The Ravens' ground game could be the deciding factor, with NFL Offensive Player of the Year frontrunner Derrick Henry averaging an impressive 117.3 rushing yards per game. His performance, combined with Jackson's dual threat capabilities, could prove too much for the Buccaneers' defense to handle. This game has the potential to be a high-scoring affair, with both offenses capable of putting up big numbers. The Ravens' superior ground game and the Buccaneers' injury concerns give Baltimore a slight edge, but expect a closely contested battle that could come down to the wire. The 4-2 Philadelphia Eagles visit the 2-4 New York Giants in a crucial NFC East matchup. The Eagles are currently favored by 3 points, with the over-under set at 43.5 points. Public betting is leaning towards the Eagles, with 55% of bets placed on Philadelphia to cover the spread. Offensively, the Eagles rank 6th in total yards per game, while the Giants' defense has struggled, ranking 30th in yards allowed. Philadelphia's rushing attack, ranked 8th, could exploit the Giants' 25th ranked run defense, which is allowing 157.5 yards per game. The Eagles' defense has shown vulnerability, ranking 31st in yards, allowing 6.9 yards per play. However, they've been strong on third downs, allowing only a 25% conversion rate, 3rd in the league. The Giants' offense will need to capitalize on this weakness to stay competitive. Against the spread, the Eagles are 2-3 this season. The Giants are also 2-3. Injuries could play a significant role in this matchup. The Eagles may be without tight end Dallas Goedert hamstring, cornerback Darius Slay knee, and tackle Jordan Mailata. For the Giants, left tackle Andrew Thomas is potentially out for the season with a foot injury, which could severely impact their offensive line performance. The Giants' offense may receive a boost if wide receiver Malik Nabers and running back Devin Singletary return from their 2-game absences. Their status remains uncertain and will be closely monitored throughout the week. Key players to watch include Eagles quarterback Jalen Hurts, who has been dealing with a finger injury but is expected to play. His dual threat capability could pose problems for the Giants' defense. For New York, quarterback Daniel Jones will need to elevate his game, especially if Andrew Thomas is absent from the offensive line. The Eagles appear to have the statistical advantage. Injuries and divisional rivalry factors could make this a closer contest than the numbers suggest. The 2-4 Las Vegas Raiders face the 1-4 Los Angeles Rams at SoFi Stadium. the Rams are currently favored by 5.5 points, with the over-under set at 43.5. Public betting is leaning towards the Rams, with 60% of bets placed on Los Angeles to cover the spread. Offensively, the Raiders rank 26th in total yards per game, while the Rams are 16th. Defensively, Las Vegas ranks 12th in yards allowed per game, compared to the Rams' 27th ranking. The Raiders have struggled to run the ball, rushing for only 79.5 yards per game, ranking them 31st in the league, which could be an opportunity against the Rams' 32nd-ranked rush defense, who have allowed 157.6 yards per game. Against the spread, the Raiders are 2-4 this season, while the Rams are 1-4. Las Vegas is 1-2 against the spread on the road, and Los Angeles is 1-1 at home. The Raiders are monitoring running back Zamir White with a groin injury and wide receiver Jakobi Meyers, both limited in practice. For the Rams, wide receiver Cooper Kupp and running back Kyren Williams are questionable, with their status potentially impacting the Rams' offensive capabilities. Key players to watch include Raiders tight end Brock Bowers, who leads the team with 384 receiving yards, and Rams' quarterback Matthew Stafford, who has thrown for 1,238 yards this season. The Rams' running back Kyren Williams, if healthy, could exploit the Raiders' 23rd-ranked rush defense. The Raiders' recent trade of star wide receiver Davante Adams to the New York Jets adds uncertainty to their offensive strategy. The Rams, coming off a bye week, hope to capitalize on the extra preparation time and potential return of key players. This game could hinge on the Rams' ability to establish their running game against the Raiders' vulnerable rush defense, while Las Vegas will need to find offensive consistency without Adams. The betting lines suggest a close contest, with the Rams holding a slight edge at home. The 1-5 Carolina Panthers face the 4-2 Washington Commanders in Washington. The Commanders are favored by 7.5 points, with 60% of the public backing Washington to cover the spread. The over-under is set at 52 points. Offensively, the Commanders rank 7th in total yards per game, while the Panthers struggle at 30th. Defensively, both teams have struggled, with Washington ranking 28th and Carolina 30th. Against the spread, the Commanders have been impressive at 4-1-1, while the Panthers are a dismal 1-5. Washington is 2-0 against the spread at home this season. Key injuries for Carolina include outside linebacker Shaq Thompson and wide receiver Adam Thielen. For Washington, defensive lineman Jonathan Allen is out for the season, while running back Brian Robinson Jr. is questionable with a hamstring injury. The Commanders' offense, led by rookie quarterback Jayden Daniels, has been a pleasant surprise. Daniels has 10 total touchdowns on the season and has thrown all 6 of his passing touchdowns in the last 4 games. His dual-threat ability could pose problems for Carolina's struggling defense. For the Panthers, running back Chuba Hubbard has been a bright spot, averaging 5.6 yards per carry. He'll need to have a big game to keep Carolina competitive, especially given the team's struggles in the passing game. The over has hit in 5 of 6 games for both teams this season, suggesting this could be a high-scoring affair. However, the Commanders have allowed 30-plus points in 3 of their last 4 games, while the Panthers have given up 30-plus in each of their last 3. Washington's home field advantage and Carolina's road woes, 1-11 straight up in their last 12 road games, could be significant factors. The Commanders will look to bounce back after a tough loss to the Ravens, while the Panthers are desperate for their second win of the season. The Commanders appear poised to cover the spread, but their defensive struggles could keep the door open for a potential Panthers upset. The 5-0 Kansas City Chiefs face the 3-3 San Francisco 49ers in San Fran. The current point spread favors the 49ers by 1 point, with the public slightly leaning towards the Chiefs as the betting favorite. Offensively, the Chiefs rank 11th in total yards per game, while the 49ers boast the second-ranked offense. Defensively, Kansas City ranks 9th in yards allowed, compared to San Francisco's 11th-ranked defense. The 49ers have a significant edge in rushing offense, ranking 4th with 158 yards per game, while the Chiefs are 15th with 117.8 yards per game. Against the spread, the Chiefs have been impressive, covering in 12 of their last 20 games. The 49ers, however, are just 3-3 against the spread this season. The Chiefs are missing key players. Running back Isaiah Pacheco is on injured reserve, while wide receiver Rashee Rice is hoping to return soon. For the 49ers, running back Christian McCaffrey is on injured reserve but expected to return around Week 7. Cornerback Charvarius Ward is day-to-day with a knee injury, which could impact the secondary's performance. Quarterback Patrick Mahomes will be crucial for the Chiefs' success, especially given their injury-depleted offense. For the 49ers, quarterback Brock Purdy's performance under pressure will be key, as he has a QB rating of 86.6 when blitzed. The Chiefs' defense has been stout against the run, allowing only 3 yards per carry in their last 4 games. This could pose a challenge for the 49ers' usually potent rushing attack. Conversely, the Chiefs' defense has struggled against tight ends, allowing the most receptions and receiving yards per game to the position. This could be an opportunity for 49ers tight end George Kittle to have a significant impact. The cornerback duo of Trent McDuffie and Jalen Watson has been impressive for the Chiefs, allowing a combined QB rating of just 77.34 this season. They'll be tested by the 49ers' strong receiving core, led by Deebo Samuel and Brandon Ayuk. This matchup features 2 high-powered offenses with solid defenses, making for an intriguing and potentially close game. The 2-3 New York Jets face the 3-2 Pittsburgh Steelers at Acrisure Stadium. The Steelers are currently 1.5-point favorites, with the over-under set at 36.5 points. Despite being underdogs, the Jets are receiving 67% of the public bets, indicating a potential shift in the line. Offensively, the Jets rank 27th in yards per game, while the Steelers are 23rd. The Jets' passing game, ranked 19th, outperforms the Steelers, ranked 27th. But Pittsburgh has a significant edge in their rushing attack, ranking them 13th in the league, versus the Jets' 32nd ranked rush. Defensively, both teams shine. The Jets rank 2nd in total defense and 2nd in passing defense. The Steelers are 9th in total defense and 5th in rushing defense. Pittsburgh's defense allows just 14.6 points per game, ranking them 2nd in the NFL, while the Jets allow 17 points per game. Against the spread, the Jets are 2-4, while the Steelers are 4-2. The Jets have lost 3 straight games, but by a combined margin of only 10 points, showcasing their competitiveness. The Steelers could see the return of outside linebacker Alex Highsmith from a groin injury. Free safety DeMonte Kazee, running back Cordarrelle Patterson, and tight end Michael Pruitt are questionable. Center Zach Frazier and outside linebacker Nick Herbig are out. Key players to watch include Jets quarterback Aaron Rodgers, who threw for 296 yards and 2 touchdowns in their last game, and wide receiver Garrett Wilson, who has 21 catches for 208 yards and 2 touchdowns in the last 2 games. For the Steelers, quarterback Justin Fields and running back Najee Harris will be crucial, with Harris coming off a 106-yard rushing performance. The low over-under suggests a defensive battle, but with both offenses showing recent signs of life, this game could surprise. The Jets' strong passing game against the Steelers' weaker pass defense could be a deciding factor, while Pittsburgh's home field advantage and superior rushing attack may prove crucial in what's expected to be a close game. The 4-2 Baltimore Ravens face the 4-2 Tampa Bay Buccaneers on Monday Night Football in a clash of 2 high-powered offenses. The Ravens are currently favored by 3.5 points, with 58% of the public backing Baltimore to cover the spread. Offensively, both teams have been impressive this season. The Ravens lead the league in total yards per game and rushing yards per game. The Buccaneers aren't far behind, ranking 2nd in points per game and 1st in dropback success rate. Defensively, both teams have shown some vulnerabilities, particularly against the pass. Against the spread, the Ravens are 5-1 in their last 6 road games, while the Buccaneers are 4-1 in their last 5 games as underdogs on the East Coast. The total points line is set at 48.5, with recent trends favoring the over for Ravens games and the under for Buccaneers home games. The Ravens are relatively healthy, with no major starters listed as questionable for the game. The Buccaneers, however, have several key players listed as questionable, including running back Rachaad White, wide receiver Trey Palmer, and safety Antoine Winfield Jr. All eyes will be on the quarterbacks in this matchup. Lamar Jackson has been exceptional for the Ravens, throwing for 10 touchdowns with just 2 interceptions while averaging 8.7 yards per attempt. He's also a threat on the ground, averaging 67.2 rushing yards per game. For the Buccaneers, Baker Mayfield leads the NFL in touchdown passes and will look to exploit the Ravens' vulnerable secondary. The Ravens' ground game could be the deciding factor, with NFL Offensive Player of the Year frontrunner Derrick Henry averaging an impressive 117.3 rushing yards per game. His performance, combined with Jackson's dual threat capabilities, could prove too much for the Buccaneers' defense to handle. This game has the potential to be a high-scoring affair, with both offenses capable of putting up big numbers. The Ravens' superior ground game and the Buccaneers' injury concerns give Baltimore a slight edge, but expect a closely contested battle that could come down to the wire. The 3-2 Los Angeles Chargers face the 2-4 Arizona Cardinals in a Monday night matchup at State Farm Stadium. The Chargers are currently favored by 2.5 points, with the over-under set at 43.5. Public betting is slightly leaning towards the Chargers, with 55% of bets placed on Los Angeles to cover the spread. Offensively, the Chargers rank 28th in total yards per game, while the Cardinals rank 15th. Defensively, Los Angeles has been impressive, ranking 6th in total yards allowed per game, while Arizona struggles at 28th. The Chargers' defense has been particularly stingy, allowing a league-best 13.2 points per game, compared to the Cardinals' 27.2 points allowed per game. Against the spread, the Chargers are 3-2 this season, while the Cardinals are 3-3. Los Angeles is 7-3 against the spread in their last 10 games as favorites, while Arizona is 4-6 against the spread in their last 10 games as underdogs. The Chargers are monitoring wide receiver Quentin Johnston and offensive tackle Rashawn Slater, both of whom are questionable for the game. For the Cardinals, wide receiver Marvin Harrison Jr. and tight end Trey McBride are day-to-day, and their status remains uncertain. The Chargers' success will likely hinge on quarterback Justin Herbert's performance against a vulnerable Cardinals secondary. Herbert has thrown for 1,592 yards, 11 touchdowns, and 4 interceptions this season. For Arizona, running back James Conner's ability to exploit the Chargers' run defense could be crucial in keeping the game competitive. This matchup presents an intriguing contrast between the Chargers' strong defense and the Cardinals' productive offense. Los Angeles will aim to continue their defensive dominance, while Arizona looks to capitalize on home field advantage and pull off an upset. Thank you for listening. Please like and subscribe to Sleep with Sports for daily content from the NFL, NHL, NBA, Formula One, UFC, and more.